Hi, Rahshal with Lady Fermenter. Today we're going to be talking about the new IPA malt from Gambrinus. If you're wondering right now, did she say IPA malt? The answer is yes. And we thought it would be fun to take you behind the scenes as we plan our brew days around this new malt. So we picked up our bag of malt. We bought a 55-pound or 25-kilogram bag of this IPA malt from Gambrinus. We picked it up from our local homebrew shop, True Brew, in New Berlin, Wisconsin. $75 US, and we are in August of 2024. It's my understanding that this malt came out April of this year, so I think it's new. So when I taste this malt, do you want to taste too?
Sure.
I'll tell you what I get. So for me, I get bready, white crackery, malty sweet, and I get a little nuttiness. Do you get anything different?
No, pretty much. That's what I got.
Okay.
That's good.
So they designed this malt to complement hops, and I originally heard about it from Steven at Northwest Small Batch Homebrew YouTube channel, and I'll link that down below. He also mentioned that there was a podcast, and there's a really nice podcast from Craft Beer and Brewing. It's an hour long, but I think it's worth the listen. But we thought it would be fun to show you how we kind of like go through the process of designing beers and putting them on the channel. And this one really intrigues me because after listening to the podcast with people from Gambrinus, Ashton Lewis, there was a professional brewer that tried the malt, but supposedly we can just use this and hops. So for West Coast,
how many beers are you gonna make?
A couple, and I'll get to that in a minute because this, according to Ashton Lewis, and it's my understanding, he is the technical director for BSG, which is all part of Gambrinus and RAR and all that fun stuff. So, okay, so for the West Coast, all right, I'm thinking 12 to 14 pounds of the IPA malt. And I'm not going to add anything extra in because I feel I don't need to, and that professional brewer said they did add more character malts in, but thought they didn't have to in the end. So now for hops, I think I'm going to use Citra. And
how much?
I don't know. Because I'll run everything through. Beersmith to make sure I'm within the range. I think I'll do Cascade, and then I want to at the end put in some Azaka. I don't know if I'm spelling that right. I apologize, but I've got all these fun hops to use from Yakima Valley. And then yeast. Let's see, for the yeast, I'm going to use Omega West Coast plus one or 1+. So this one will have the ALDC enzyme in it, so there's no diacetyl, and then it also has its new technology where it promises crystal clear beer. So I think
that would be fun.
Yeah. So, and this will be my first West Coast, so see what happens.
Even more fun.
Yeah. All right. Now the other thing they said is you can do a hazy with this, which intrigues me. So for the hazy, let's see. So that's our NEPA. We'll call that the NEPA. Now I'm just going to use the IPA malt. I don't know, 9 to 10 pounds of the IPA malt. And then flaked oats, that big container that you get at the grocery store. I feel it's fresher there, so I'll buy it there and just put the whole container in. And then for the hops, I'm really gonna have to back off of the hops because we don't want IBUs. We want all the hop flavor, but not the bitterness. So
what kind of hops you thinking?
Well, I think I'm going to use some old hops, not that they've been aged, but hops that have been around a while. I'm going to use Mandarina Bavaria. I hope I'm spelling this right. I don't know if I'm spelling it right. And Lemon Drop. And then, because my girlfriend Chris said they all taste like grapefruit to her, I'm taking that as a personal challenge, and I'm going to add a container of Oregon, I think it's Oregon, right? Oregon fruit puree in pineapple. So I want it citrusy, but I don't want any grapefruit. So I think between the oats, we'll get the mouthfeel that I want, and the pineapple and the low IBU, the low IBU hops, this should make a nice New England IPA.
And what yeast are you gonna use?
Ooh, that one's easy. That I'm gonna use, because Omega has figured it out, I'm gonna use British 5. Because they've figured out haze stability with that yeast. All right, now the interesting thing that Ashton said was you could also do a Munich Helles
Ooh.
and a Dortmunder export. So let's take the Munich Helles. Munich Helles. Okay, now let's see what the BJCP says. Beer Judging Certification Program is what that stands for. It says Munich Helles, gold-colored German lager with a smooth malty flavor and soft dry finish, subtle spicy floral or herbal hops, and restrained bitterness help keep the beer balanced malty but not sweet, which helps make this beer a refreshing everyday drink. Okay, so for that, I'm thinking 8 to 9 pounds of the IPA malt. Whoops. And then when I do a Munich Helles, I like a half pound of acidulated malt. For hops, I'm thinking a little bit of German Magnum, because this is a German beer. And then like a Tetnag, because we want, I'm spelling these wrong, I bet. Tetnag, because we want that noble hop presence, but we want something with low bitterness. Now,
what you gonna use for yeast? That
for the yeast. For the yeast. Okay, so I'm gonna have to use something. The fermentation chamber is full, so I'm going to have to use something that can handle a little bit higher temperature. So I'm going to use a dry yeast from Lallemand called Nova Lager. I've used it before and it's fabulous. It's nice and clean. So that's what I'm going to use, Nova Lager. Okay. Okay, so Ashton also said that you could make a Helles export beer. Helles export. Okay, now.
So what is that?
I have no idea. I've never made one. I've never drank one to my knowledge. Let's see, it's 5C in the BJCP guide. It says golden German lager balancing a smooth malty profile with a bitter hoppy character in a slightly above average body and strength. So I don't remember who I heard use this term, because I would give credit to that person, but I heard someone say more-ish. So this is more-ish than a Munich Helles. More ABV, should be 5 to 6. More bitterness, and more mouthfeel. Okay, so Munich or Helles export. Boy, I don't know. I'm thinking maybe 10 pounds, 10, 11 pounds, the IPA malt. Yeah. And then let's go with German Magnum. So it's gonna be, needs to be malty. All right, let's go with German Magnum. I love German Magnum because of the clean bitterness. And then I'll come in with maybe German Perle or Saaz hops, you know, Czech Saaz, or Mount Hood. Okay. And for yeast, I think I'm going to use Omega's German, what is it? German Bach? Shoot.
I think so.
German Bach, right? Or German 1. German 1 plus, and so that's going to have the enzyme that won't have the that won't allow the diacetyl to be created. Okay, so now when you taste this, so I had another idea, bonus beer, but I think we'll have enough malt left after that bag, right? 10, 20, 30. Okay, so I was thinking a Weizenbach. What do you think?
Give it a try. It's got plenty of flavor.
It's very complex.
Weizenbachs or Vienna.
It's not toasty enough for a Vienna.
Yeah.
You need more toast. You could probably pull it off by adding a toasty Vienna. But what I'm thinking is Weizenbach. But not the dark one. I'm thinking the light one. I'm thinking if I go 8 to 9 pounds, the IPA malt. And then the same for wheat, because a Weizenbach should be at least 50% wheat. And we have some of the Mecca grade white wheat left. Darn it, I wish that brand was still available. And oh my gosh, it's amazing. And then I'll just come in with the Weihenstephan yeast. Weihenstephan. I'm spelling this wrong. Please forgive me. Yeast. And then it's not super bitter, so I'll just do like Hallertau, Mittelfrüh, or Tettnang. Hallertau, Mittelfrüh, or Tettnang. All right, there's our 5 brew days. Like I said earlier, I'll run them all through Beersmith and make sure that I'm within range and that I've got my head on straight. And then we'll get to brewing. When we do each of these videos, I'll make sure to update the ingredients so you have accurate information. Thanks a pint for watching.